To look at his feet. I'm going to look for a normal or abnormal shape to the hoof, such as a long toe, low heel, flaring, lines in the hoof that could indicate events that have happened in the recent past. I'm going to look for balance. I'm going to look at the frog, see the health of the frog, press on the sole to look for thin soles. See if there's any problems in the sulcus, especially the central sulcus area, but see if there's any thrush or any other issues in the hoof. I also have a temperature gauge. I take the temperature of all four hooves. Generally, I like to see them within 5 degrees of each other. Once I've checked the feet, then I will check the ting points. I'll do that by running my finger around just above the coronary band and look for hollows to see if there are any meridian connections there. And that's a very strong meridian connection, so that would be good information for me to determine my major meridian. I'll do it on all four hooves. And I will mark down any ones that show hollow. I will then do the legs. For the legs, I'm going to be looking at the muscle in the leg to make sure I have a good 40 to 60 proportion. The leg, I'm going to be checking tendons. Put it in, put it in, put it in, put it in. And of course always feeling for heat, any unusual lumps, bumps, perhaps spots on the cannon bone that could show a splint, etc. And then I'm going to pick up the leg, and with the leg I'm going to see what kind of a range of motion I can have, in and out and back and forth, same around the pastern area, and see what kind of range of motion I have. Whether I have resistance, sometimes there is big resistance, even though you might have a good range of motion, you might actually have resistance to that movement. So another good source of information. And then I'm going to do a physical assessment, starting to see whether there is cervical alignment by running my hands down the vertebrae. Feeling for any unevennesses. Doing a wither pinch and looking for reaction. And then down the spine, doing the same type of pinch. I alternate fingers rather than digging both fingers in at the same time, which might create a reaction in any horse. Down. And then I look for pelvic spring. And I look not only to see how much spring, but I look to see if there's a difference between the two legs. I want him to be standing with his weight underneath him when he does this. Now I'm going to assess the association points. These are points along the bladder meridian, and each point is connected to a different meridian. So bladder 13, we've got lung, followed by pericardium, and then heart, and then we have 16 and 17. Liver is 18, and there's a second 18. Gallbladder is 19, there's a second 19. Spleen is 20. Stomach is 21. Triple heater is 22, and kidney is 23. And then there's 24, and then at 25 we have large intestine, 26, and then down the haunch we have 27, small intestine, 28, bladder. Then I'm going to check the poverty groove. I'm going to go over around the top of the coxal tuberosity and horizontally just below and in front of the coxal tuberosity, and then around the greater trochanter. And then I'll do the ribs right at the edge of the last rib, and then horizontally liver 13 just across the back there. And then I'll do the pain points. So I will draw a line from Bachway to the point of the coxal tuberosity, and I'll divide it in thirds, and I'll go down, down, and off. And then at the sacral area, horizontally. And then I'm going to go just below the withers and go down and forward, and then find the spine of the scapula, go just in front, and test it there. And I'm going to do an emotional assessment, which is going to be a combination of things such as anecdotal evidence from the owner of the horse, observations of the horse's behavior, but also I put in one hand on GB14. I'm going to feel the pectoralis muscle, the supraspinatus, and the deltoid. And I'm going to feel for any differences, or I'm going to look for reactions from the horse that might indicate that they are finding an emotional issue related to that muscle.